Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm
kick ass.
all out of dance moves, apparently.
Oh, love you guys. You guys crack me up. The look on your face, Dirty Dan, that was awesome. That really was.
Oh, it's okay. When you go back and watch the recording and you see all my dance moves, she can have that one. It's fine. I'm going to steal a show right before it even really got started, so it's okay.
And welcome to part 2 of episode 51, the anniversary show.
Anniversary special.
Yes. How's your guys' week been?
Wouldn't it be 51.5? Are we doing like 51 and a half or like 51 and 3/4? Like,
it'll be 51B.
51 PT2.
It'll be 51 TR3B.
Yes, part 2.
Hard PT. Jesus.
TR. What was that you said, Dirty Dan?
I said it'll be 51 TR3-B.
Shut up.
Yeah, she told you. So
I get it all the time.
Have you guys got a chance to check out the new Halloween movie, Halloween Kills?
No, but I did save it. I did save it to watch it.
Yes,
Is it a horror movie?
Yes, it's a brand new Michael Myers Halloween movie.
So can I be honest?
It's on Peacock.
Yes, please do.
Can I be honest?
Yes.
First of all, that man won't watch a fucking horror movie. Second of all, I used to be an avid horror movie watcher. I don't vibe with that shit anymore.
Why won't I watch a horror movie? I like good laughs.
Exactly. You don't watch a horror movie. Couldn't be
right.
bothered.
I laugh at it. Still speculating with my eyes.
Not only since I've done a deep dive on my awakening and spiritual journey, but also since having my daughter. I don't know. They just hit different. I don't vibe with it anymore.
I'm so excited that when our daughter gets older that I can go to a movie with her and we can both laugh because she thinks like I do, and that's kind of petrifying.
Well, I am just glad she doesn't look like you.
Bro.
No, she looks like her mom. She looks like her mom.
Now more so than she first did, but I can show you some baby pictures. You wouldn't be able to tell us apart.
Well,
How about Charlotte? Just looks like Charlotte.
There you go.
That is true.
Now, when I was little, when I was a baby, I looked like a potato.
Yeah, but that was because you always had your ass looking.
Yeah. Oh, my mom told me to tell you hello, by the way.
Hello, Mama Goose.
So,
we miss her. That was so enjoyable.
Yeah. She's.
I think we should do more prank calls.
Well,
Mama
definitely.
Goose, I'm going to need your mailing address for a bill. My carrier pigeon never came back.
Yeah. We can definitely call some more. I'm always up for that.
We're gonna have to call Bob one of these times.
Oh, I would love to call Bob. I would love to call Bob. Bob cracks me up. Bob's funny.
Bob came on my Zoom last night, and Bob doesn't realize that he's low-key famous.
Pull up.
I know. Pull up, Rebecca. Pull up. Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
Bob is good.
Where's Beano? Where's Beano?
Don't forget to repeat again last week. This is, like I said, part 2. We are now on Pandora, on the Pandora app and website, along with iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, anywhere you can find top quality podcast. And we're also on 4 radio stations, working on, there may be another one coming on board before the end of the year. So that will put us on 5.
Stop.
So
Sirius XM.
That is the ultimate goal. So
I would love to be able to just have a sit down with Howard Stern.
That will never happen, man.
I know.
Have you listened to Howard Stern lately?
Yeah.
he has changed his point of view so much. And I don't know if I really agree with some of the stuff that he says anymore. He used to be all about free speech and doing all this, and he's kind of, not the same anymore.
I think he got tired of paying millions of dollars of fines every year.
Yeah, but dude, he's been uncensored since 06.
Thank you. Far too kind.
So,
Sorry.
and did they agree with me that Howard Stern is not the same? Is that what that was? Oh, okay.
No.
So, but yeah, have you ever listened to Howard Stern, Rebecca?
No, I honestly, to be 100 with you, until you reached out to me the very first time through Tic Tac to be on your show, I didn't know what the fuck a podcast was.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be 100%.
I had tried getting her to listen to other podcasts, to this podcast, to all sorts of things. And it's always, she does what she wants. She doesn't care what I want to listen to. And then it'll be 6 months later down the road and someone will suggest it. She'll be all about it. And then I'm just sitting there going, really? So
did you actually have to go ask him what a podcast was?
Yep.
Did he have to? Really? Okay.
Yeah, I said I just got this message, like they want me to be on their show on a podcast. Like, what is a podcast? And he just went like this. Oh, you're so pretty.
And more nowadays, podcast is not a traditional podcast anymore. It's becoming the video element as well. Back when it first got started, it was just all audio.
And I think that's like why I never got interested in it, because I hate listening to like the commercials and people talk on the radio.
Right.
So I just immediately like dismissed it, and it didn't exist in my
not
reality.
all
for very long time.
podcasts have commercials.
Well, that is true.
No, but like I didn't want to listen to people talk. That was my thing.
Now, we do have commercials for, friends of the show or other people on the radio show. We do have some commercials for, people that are friends of the show and so forth.
You're missing my point. Like, I didn't like listening to people talk, so I wasn't going to seek out people talking.
What we're doing right now,
music.
She doesn't want to listen to. She never listens to anything we do.
That's not true.
Well, everything that we record, I listen to it at least 3 times. I listen to it when I put it together. I listen to it when it's put together. And then when it drops on one of the platforms, I go listen to it as well. So 3 times minimum.
I do this. I constantly have podcasts going. Like we were messaging back last week about when you Justin Perkins and I, when are we going to have that little reconvene again?
Right. Well, that's something we definitely need to do. So
that was a blast. And buddy, neither of us can figure out what the fuck you said when you said we'd have to go back and listen to it.
I can't even remember, but I mean, it was, I would, because I just listened to it once. And what were you guys even saying when I said that? Do you remember what you were saying?
Oh, well, we had just finished talking about, you made the comment and I said, you're going to get some hate mail for the homophobic comment. You can't say that. And we started laughing and going back and forth. And Justin and I were both saying something and you tried to chime in, and then we stopped and said, what? And you said, you'll just have to go back and listen to it.
Oh, I would have to go back and listen to it to let you know, dude,
It's almost becoming like, oh, we're going to have to circle back to that.
Yeah,
God.
Definitely.
We're going to have to go back and listen to that.
But I do want to thank everyone for tuning in to part 2 of the anniversary show, episode 51. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396, or they can email. How can they do that, Dirty Dan?
Well, you can email any of us at our specific emails, and you got Goose at HereToChewBubblegum.com, Dirty Dan at HereToChewBubblegum.com, and Rebecca at HereToChewBubblegum.com. Or you can email into the show, Ned or Elliot at HereToChewBubblegum@yahoo.com.
You are correct. So we're going to go ahead without further ado and jump into part 2. And in part 2, we're going to start out. Dirty Dan is talking about NASA. So, hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much. Don't forget, next week on the show, we will have, or the following week, we will have the Spooky Family. How did you guys like it? You thought I was just going to go straight to it, didn't you? Coming up on October 31st show of Here to Chew Bubblegum, we will have the Spooky family and a very special guest ghost story, surprise guest ghost story with a surprise guest. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. We're going into part 2 right now.
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum, folks, with Goose, Dirty Dan, and the one, the only wonderful Rebecca.
Queen of the flock. Queen.
Yes, she
Look
is.
Look at me. You are the queen now.
Look at me. I'm the queen now.
This is a great interview there with Luke Fugit. Fugit, yes. This is I don't know
why I struggle with that.
Well, hey, man.
I don't know why you struggle with spirituality.
His interview
specific.
His interview was in part 1. This is part 2 of episode 51, the happy anniversary show. We're going to start out part 2, and Dirty Dan's going to talk about NASA.
I sure am. And their latest and hopefully greatest creation, although it really looks like they tried to make the SR-71 again and failed.
Did they fail miserably or just fail?
Well, the thing hasn't flown yet, so I can't tell you if it was a catastrophic approach at it or not. But we'll see. So this is in regards to NASA's new quiet supersonic X-59, X-69 jets that is approaching the first test flight. NASA said that the X-59s are now finally resembling an actual aircraft. Newly released time-lapse footage of the U.S. Space Agency shows the merging of the major aircraft sections of NASA's X-59 quiet supersonic technology, or QUEST aircraft. A blog post from NASA explains. The X-59, whose design was first revealed to the public in 2019, is gradually taking shape as NASA, in partnership with Lockheed Martin and Skunk Works, aims to create a jet that could reignite commercial supersonic air travel almost 2 decades after the Concorde's last flight. The construction of the X-59 is taking place at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works in Palmdale, California. And once completed, the supersonic jet will likely be capable of cruising at Mach 1.4, which is 925 miles per hour. The X-59 was specifically designed with a thin 30-foot long nose that lowers the sound of the sonic boom when the jet surpasses the speed of sound at 767 miles per hour. That should allow it to reach supersonic speeds soon after takeoff. The Concorde, by comparison, had to remain at a lower speed over populated areas due to its immense sonic boom. NASA awarded Lockheed Martin the $247.5 million contract to develop the X-59, and the company is expected to finish the construction of the jet this year before moving on to the test flight phase of 2022. According to Inceptive Mind, the finished aircraft is expected to be 94 feet long, have a wingspan of only 29.5 feet. It will have a maximum takeoff weight of 32,300 pounds and should reach top speeds of about Mach 1.5. The short video clip that was released by NASA shows the piecing together of various parts of the X-59's fuselage and its wings. We've now transitioned from being a bunch of separate parts sitting around on different parts of the production floor to an airplane, says Jay Brandon, NASA chief engineer. A caption in the NASA blog post also says that the construction process shown in the video marks the first time that the X-59 has been able to resemble an actual aircraft. The engineers working on the project used laser projections to quickly check that pre-drilled parts were correctly fitted during construction. NASA explains that the extensive use of features in pre-drilled full-size fastener holes has significantly reduced the time it takes to locate and fit parts, especially making large assemblies like this, said David Richardson, Lockheed Martin's program director. It is sort of like how Legos go together. That does not make me feel good.
We're really comparing space travel to fucking Legos.
Yep. We use the laser tracker to make sure it is all aligned per the engineering specs before we permanently bolt it together. NASA and Lockheed Martin aren't the only companies aiming to form part of a resurgence in supersonic commercial flight. Boom Supersonic, for example, recently told IE in a March interview that it aims to remove the barriers of experiencing the planet. The company was recently granted a $3 billion contract from United Airlines as part of its plans to go carbon neutral. Though the X-59 only has space for a pilot with no passengers, NASA aims to eventually develop the aircraft's quiet supersonic jet technology for commercial flight and possibly also for the U.S. military. The new aircraft, nicknamed by some as the Son of Concorde, signals a new era of commercial space flight.
How is it going to be commercial space flight if there's no room for passengers?
Oh, just wait. It gets better because they go on to describe the plane here. There's no front windows. Supersonic planes might be speedy, but they have one distinct problem. They generate an unbearably loud sound. When an aircraft travels faster than the speed of sound, shockwaves form and travel away from the aircraft, merging and generating sonic booms heard on the ground for miles. NASA's work with Lockheed Martin Skunk Works to transform aviation through its faster-than-sound X-59 technology aircraft that reduces sonic booms to a barely audible sonic thump. The new single-seat plane will cruise at an altitude of 55,000 feet while moving at, a speed of about Mach 1.4. But what it won't have, however, is any forward-facing windows. Instead, NASA will have it rely on their own in-house developed external vision system. According to Forbes, NASA's XVS subsystem lead, Randy Bailey, calls the artificial vision system the last line of defense in the domain where the pilot can use the system to see an oncoming air vehicle. Way before we get to that point, we have ATC, or air traffic control, and ADS-B information, assuming the other air traffic is on it, he explained. The X-59 does not include a forward canopy in order to maintain its long needle nose shape. Bailey also added that instead it uses what Bailey refers to as an electronic window, all in quotes. NASA's electronic window XVS system includes a pair of high-res cameras and a 4K monitor. The first 4K camera is located atop and slightly ahead of the cockpit and is augmented with synthetic vision capability, allowing the pilot to apparently artificially see through fog and clouds. A second camera underneath the nose can extend during takeoff and landings. In this sense, the aircraft is fully covered and does not require a window. NASA's XVS system provides all of the visual information required for the pilot to fly safely. The FAA has yet to comment.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused. We're going to put you in a plane that has no windows. We're going to give you video cameras and a monitor to fly this thing, and
supersonic.
That
This whole thing sounds like shenanigans.
yes, it does.
Here's the rendition of it.
I mean, yeah, that I've made paper airplanes that look better than that. I mean, you've got the TR.
Congratulations, guys. This is what billions of dollars have gone to.
So we're spending over, I mean, the one number that stuck out was $3 billion. $3 billion to build a non-passenger space shuttle with no windows.
The $3 billion was just for the technology development. The plane itself was almost $1 billion.
Are they going to lose the fucking plans again?
That's
okay. Next story. I'm over it.
All I'm going to say is that we already had a plane that could carry way more than one person, that could fly 3 times as high.
Yeah.
17 times faster than this thing.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. That doesn't make much sense, but that's. Oh well, Hey.
I am glad you two feel the same way I did when I read this, because I'm like, wait, what?
I feel dumber having listened to you read that. Like, I feel like that provided me no fucking useful information. I just wasted like 6 minutes of my life.
You guys are going to have to be sure to check out the Zoom. The look on Dirty Dad's face right now is there's no way to describe it. You're just going to have to watch the video when it drops. Very good comment, Rebecca. Very good comment.
Oh, he muted himself so that he can swear at me.
Moving on, I'm going to talk about the gateway experiments. This is an older article that I found, and really, this is something that we'll talk about more in depth later on in future shows. Have you guys heard of the gateway experience?
No, but I've heard of the gateway portal.
Okay, well, it's no secret that the human mind is capable of doing so much. It is the human mind that took man to the moon or built the atomic bomb, among several other great scientific achievements. But
Allegedly.
researchers have also been working on expanding its reach from the realms of a physical universe and pushing it beyond transcending space and time. Recently, one of those techniques used by the CIA surfaced online and has been has been quite a revelation for many. The CIA technique, dubbed the Gateway Experience, was essentially described as a training program to bring enhanced strength, focus, and so forth to connect brainwave frequencies output between the left and right hemispheres that would alter the consciousness, pushing it through the outside of physical space. Escaping restrictions of space and time. Basically, it is a way to put minds in a very different state of consciousness, controlling our brain with the motive of interacting with non-physical aspects of reality. It uses, according to the CIA report, range from converting energy to heal one's body, to traveling across space and time to learn and access new information. The CIA initiation of the Gateway Experiments, McDonnell was commissioned to work on the Gateway Experience in the 1980s, at a time when the U.S. was taking a deep interest in different varieties of psychic research, primarily since the Soviet Union has been taking a keen interest in psychokinesis, or ESP.
Hey, buddy.
And, yes, sir.
Didn't they do some of that at Dayton or Wright Pat Air Force Base?
Yes, they did. And
Okay, I've heard
there's actually a new report that claims, and the guy never came clean, but Lou Elizondo, who used to be a former member of ATIP, that he can actually do that and, astro project or remote viewing, and can see other things. He didn't make the claim. There was an investigator that dug into him, and that is one of the claims that he took away from that, Lou Elizondo, yet has not denied anything. And that come out, I think, on Friday of this week. So the basis of the Gateway Experiments actually comes from the research conducted by Robert Monroe, a broadcasting executive who was studying to understand the effects of sound on human consciousness during the 1950s. I've always found that kind of weird and
Tell me more.
fascinating at the same time. You have a company that, like in the article you just read, they spent $3 billion on technology to put this plane in. The plane itself costed $1 billion. But yet they're fooling with ESP, doing experiments and so forth. What's your thoughts on that?
So, anytime now thinking about it, I have heard of the Gateway, and obviously I asked because I remember seeing something about it actually when my dad and I had gone to Wright Pat Air Force Base Museum again, and I can't help but think back to those god awful Russian human experiments that were done in the end of World War II and Cold War. And it scares the ever living hell out of me.
Oh, of course it does.
Because they are straight dumping our money, being dishonest about it, into essentially what I'm going to call torturing live human beings to see how they can manipulate them.
Well, it also goes into Stranger Things too. That's based on those.
Oh,
yes, it does. And and the Stranger Things show is actually based on the Montauk project or experiment.
Well, I knew that. I remember Rebecca actually telling me that before, and I should have known that since I'm Hopper.
You should have known that.
My apologies. I was still playing the dumb sheriff role.
What's your thoughts on that, Rebecca, on ESP and remote viewing and all that?
Well, it's 100% true. It's also on the map. We just had a comment come in from Paul. all the news out of NASA is to cover up how they really spend money.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
But, yeah, no, it's like astral projection, remote viewing. I mean, the close encounters, oh my God, the experiment. What the fuck is it? It just literally left my brain.
Bye-bye.
What is it called?
The gateways.
The gateway experience. Jesus Christ. I like glitched out for a second. It needs to be acquired and used though with the right intention. Like it all comes down to intention. So when they're doing these fucking experiments and they're trying to like manipulate these people, I mean, that's not how you get that. That's when you go into the upside down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Let's see.
That it really is kind of bothersome.
Yes, it is. I guess we're going to take a break and go into episode 3 of Believe It or Not with Justin Perkins and myself. And when we come back, we'll close everything out on part 1 of the show, and we'll tell about what's coming up next week, if that sounds good to you guys.
That sounds like a hell of a plan, sir.
What are we listening to, Rebecca?
Here to Chew Bubblegum.
We're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. And you're going to flock around and find out.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
It's now time for Believe It or Not with Justin and Goose.
Hello, I'm Justin Perkins, and some of the best things in life just aren't quite believable.
Jot 'em down, store. Love from Abner. I'm Goose, and welcome to Believe It or Not with Justin and Goose. Today we're going to talk about the Russian boy from Mars. Now, had you heard about this story before I made you aware of it?
No, I had not.
Now, this is a fascinating one because, I mean, we need to follow up on this one. I will let you pronounce this guy's name.
My Russian is good. Boriska Kiprianovich.
Okay. What he said, Boriska Kiprianovich, is from Volgograd, Russia. And he claims that he, along with others, were sent to Earth to save mankind from an apocalyptic nuclear war. Also, his knowledge of outer space and the red planet for nearly 20 years have taken scientists and experts by surprise. Boriska's parents claimed that he was able to speak after just a few months old, and he would discuss subjects that they never taught him, such as alien civilizations. Boriska's mother and father didn't teach him anything about space, and as a child, he would often sit and talk about Mars, the planetary system, and alien civilizations. What's your thoughts on that so far?
I mean, look, all you can do is take it at face value. If they're telling the truth, this kid was astonishing from day one. You know, I mean, if they're sending him to stop a nuclear war, they might have sent him to the wrong country. I don't know. He's got an uphill battle there. But it is definitely a very intriguing story. This is one of those things that, true or not true, I'm going to be interested in it as soon as I see it. It takes me back, you know, when I was younger, every night before bed, my papa would sit down and he'd start reading Weekly World News, and he thought it was the funniest thing there was. I did not. I thought it was the craziest, truest thing ever made, and so that's what I was brought up reading was Weekly World News. And like this reminds me of something you'd see in there, except this is a little better written. You know, some of the articles I've seen.
You know, and you can DuckDuckGo this and find some interesting facts about this. Boriska basically says that all Martians are around 7 feet tall. They still live underground currently on the red planet, and they breathe in carbon dioxide. He says that they are immortal and stop aging at age 35. And according to him, they are also they are also very advanced and capable of interstellar travel. It's one of those days where I've got marbles in my mouth. As a schoolboy, Boriska explained how the Martians had a strong connections to ancient Egyptians on Earth. Let me find this part real quick here. He said that life on Earth will change dramatically when the Great Sphinx Monument in Giza is unlocked adding that the opening mechanism is hidden behind an ear. Now, have you ever done any research on the Pyramids of Giza or the Sphinx?
A lot. And it's one of those things that really, really fascinate me, especially with not only the dating of the pyramids and things of that nature, but what is under the pile of the Sphinx. We know there's something there. We can prove that, but Egypt's a weird place, and there's a lot of politics and a lot of bragging rights when it comes to digging something up and finding it. And they've either already went in and found something they don't want to share, or they're just not wanting to let anybody in there for whatever reason.
What do you think about his comment saying that, there would be, Earth will change dramatically when the Great Sphinx Monument in Giza is unlocked, adding that the opening mechanism is hidden behind an ear?
Well, that's a pretty safe bet, because I look at it like this. We know the pyramids had a function of some sort. They weren't just built for the heck of it.
No, they wouldn't.
And modern people do build things, monuments, Lincoln Monument, things of that nature for no reason. I understand we have a history of that, but people of that time differed from modern people because they didn't have the manpower and the time and the investment to put into something that didn't serve some type of purpose. So it had to, on the least, be maybe a temple, at the best possibly be a library, which would be amazing. The Lost Library of Alexandria, something like that has been stored there, or anything of that nature. That would make it one of the greatest finds, in the history of man.
Now, and we do have a fellow Kentuckian that has made claims before that, when a secret chamber would be discovered in 2012.
Edgar Casey.
Yes, and he also predicted just what you said would be found there.
I am a staunch skeptic when it comes to psychics and anything of that nature, but Edgar Casey has always just fascinated me for whatever reason, and he's one of those guys that he knew something. I just don't know how he knew it.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. Now, I've been looking into the pyramids and especially the Sphinx lately, and this one video, and I cannot remember, it was on, I think, the Discovery Channel. I cannot remember the name of the show, but it was talking about, they had diagrams, supposedly, that they'd found somewhere else in Egypt. I can't remember where, but there was a series of tunnels and rivers and so forth under the Sphinx that people actually entered these in the early 1900s, and they sealed them back up.
Well, that's not a big leap. I mean, you're looking at a completely stone surface that this is carved out of. I think that's kind of the difference between it and the pyramids. Actually, the Sphinx, the bottom, the base for the Sphinx is carved out of an existing rock layer. And then the Sphinx is, I don't know if the Sphinx itself is carved out of that entire layer. I know the legs are, but I believe the entirety of the Sphinx is actually carved out of the ground. So there's a lot of room there. They want to go in and build tunnels. It's the possibilities there. And tunnels in the ancient world are not a new thing. The underworld played a huge part in Egyptian mythology. It did in almost all cultures leading up to our own, and it still does in a lot of ways, but we know from ground penetrating radar and things of that nature, there's definitely, and I don't know if the date coincided with Casey or not, but I know they found the room under the pile.
Yes.
And then as far as, the one thing that I found interested in what he said about it, the mechanism to open it being found behind an ear, that's not the original face of the Sphinx, more than likely, what's currently on it. It was probably a lion's head at one time, and it's kind of, I've seen good arguments that show, based on aging and things of that nature, that it's newer than the rest of the body. Yes. Which should be the opposite, because most of its lifetime it's been covered in sand. Sand comes in, covers these things up. So the first thing that gets exposed every time is the face. That's a lot of why the nose is gone. So it takes the brunt of the wind and abrasion from the sand blowing in. So it should not only look older, which it does in some respects to the rest of the body, but it should age and date, and show more signs of aging, and it doesn't. It shows to be a lot newer part. So no doubt they've changed that. Maybe they lost knowledge of where this opening mechanism is, and it was covered up or damaged when they changed the face of the Sphinx.
Now, I think one of the ears, when you look back behind one of the ears, you can see an opening. I don't know, and it may be big enough to crawl into. I know on top of the Sphinx, there is a thing covered up that they sealed up that was way down inside. And one of the ears, I think it's the one farthest from the pyramid. I'm thinking there's an opening or something because they've got it blocked off with rock or sandstone or something, and it's not a perfect fit. You can see, where there's gaps in it.
Well, Egyptologists, especially local guys, I can't remember the guy's name to save my life, but he's the guy you see on every single show about Egypt and
the graybeard guy.
Yeah, he is a control freak. He has full back of the government, and they limit what can be said, what can be found, what can be done, when something can be looked at, and who can look at it. And he probably knows if there's something in there.
I actually think that he may have got replaced a few years ago. Like
that
maybe a year or two ago.
That would be a vast improvement because...
And I think he sued the Egyptian government because they replaced him.
He was
the head of antiquities?
Yes.
Yes.
I know his name like I know my own. I cannot think of it. He was probably the biggest roadblock for the work that Dr. Randall Carlson did and the stuff that he brought Graham Hancock in. And this guy thinks Graham Hancock's the evilest man that ever walked the face of the earth. Graham Hancock is not a scientist, he's not a historian, he's an author, but he's a very intelligent man and he's put a lot of work into it. But a lot of his theories are backed by guys like Dr. Randall Carlson until he come up with this aging theory on the Sphinx, that it's older and that it is water erosion that's caused this and not sand, which means it was built in a time that it was a much more... a much different climate than it has been in the time frame that it was originally thought to be built. Very few real scientists are questioning that theory, but Egyptologists are attacking it vehemently. It's not possible, and they've done that time and again. They've done that with Tut and been proved wrong. They've done that with so many things in the past and been proved wrong that not a whole lot of people pay a lot of attention to what Egyptologist says. It's kind of a political deal, and they need it to fit a certain religious narrative, and they kind of keep it, I don't know, kind of hush-hush, find something new because of that.
Well, researchers have described this Russian boy as extremely shy, above average intelligence, and his outstanding knowledge for the planetary system has confounded experts around the world, including scientists.
Could be Elliot.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think he's from Mars?
Because Russians are naturally smart. I mean, if I'm going to be honest and not be facetious at all, I'd have to say a 1.
I was going to say 2, so I'll stick with 2.
Yeah.
2. I believe with 2 that he's not from Mars. You all, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. You can always email us at believeItOrNot, spelled KNOTT, at HereToChewBubblegum.com. We'll be back next week with more Believe It or Not.
Hello, Here to Chew Bubblegum Nation. It is PT, or formerly known as Cronkite. I am here to wish you a very happy anniversary. Goose and the gang are doing a bang-up job in my absence. I mean, I guess they're doing as best they can do. I mean, we'll just say that. But no, happy anniversary. It's been a year. You guys are rocking. You guys are killing it. So glad to have been a part of the show, and so glad to still be a friend of the show.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts.
It's now time for a Kentucky spooky story with Mercedes.
At the top of a Mitchell Hill Road is a cemetery, and the legend says buried there is a girl who died at the bottom of a hill in a car crash in the 1940s, when she and her boyfriend were on their way to prom. Apparently, some people have reported seeing the girl on top of the hill wearing her prom dress, wandering through the cemetery, or walking along the road.
You've been listening to a Kentucky spooky story with Mercedes.
You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick.
Wait a minute, you can't say that. I want to invite everyone to tune in each Monday night at 10 p.m. for our show, Here to Chew Bubblegum.
We talk about UFOs, time travel, conspiracy theories, and other dimensions.
Bigfoot, Loch Ness, and lots of other strange and unusual topics.
So come on, dive down the rabbit hole with us each Monday night at 10 p.m. for Here to Chew Bubblegum.
On 107.1 WKCB, The Killer Bee.
Don't get lost in the sauce.
Hey, everybody, it's Cherokee from Justice League Films. I want to congratulate Here to Chew Bubblegum on a wonderful year. Goose, Dirty Dan, and Rebecca knocking it out of the park every episode. If you don't tune in, you just might not be American and you might be a terrorist.
Hello everyone, this is Elliot Spooky, and it's time for another Guest Ghost Story as we celebrate Halloween all month long on Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Greetings. Hello, everyone. I'm Goose, and welcome in to another Guest Ghost Story. With me today is a guy that's been on the show before, a good friend of mine, John Marshall with Bods Mayhem Hour. John is also a former ghost hunter, so he has plenty of ghost stories to tell us. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. Like I told you before, I'm just glad to see another day, another hour, and see my birthday just passed. So yeah, I'm happy right now.
Well, happy birthday. How old are you? Or do you want to tell?
Well, I'm 24, but it's reversed.
Yeah. Are you really 42?
Yeah.
Really?
Shocking, ain't it?
Yeah, you look good to be 42, man.
Thank you. I've been working out, No.
Yeah. Well, I'll be 47 in December, and I do actually work out every day, but man.
You don't look like it, Goose.
Oh, look at that, though, brother. I mean, hey, come on.
Hey, I can't compete with those guns. This is like a.
Don't look like it. I like that. So, this is our anniversary show, and we're doing the month of October. Some guest ghost stories. It's been a while since you've been on. Thank you very much for coming back on.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for the free swag. I'm going to get you some free swag just as soon as we get some made. I've actually tried to come up with some designs for some t-shirts, and that's one of the hardest things I think I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And but we have a new logo that we're going to start using probably next week. So I think I'm going to go with that because it's simple yet satisfying. Whatever movie that come from, I don't know. But tell us a little bit about Bods Mayhem Hour first.
Well, man, Bods Mayhem Hour has been my saving grace, and if everybody who knows me, music's been my saving grace, and I just wanted to pay it forward, and maybe if music could, like it saved my life, maybe you could save somebody else's life, and I just wanted to help local bands and get them out just a little bit further, and grab a few national bands and get them on here too. So I've been very fortunate and very blessed to have Bods Mayhem Hour for January be 12 years.
Wow.
Very,
That's
very
long time.
I love it, man. It's just like I said, I can't say this enough. I eat, breathe, and sleep music.
There you go. Just think, when you started that, you were 30 years old, my friend.
I know. I know.
Now make fun of me, not that you can't tell I work out.
It's crazy. Yeah, I look back on it and just look to where I've come from till now. It's like night and day. It's like I kind of have those Chris Farley moments when he's on Saturday Night Live with Paul McCartney. You remember when you was recording this song with the Beatles? Yeah. It's kind of how it feels.
Oh yeah, I can totally understand that. I mean, there's a lot of people, we've grown leaps and bounds over the years here to Chew Bubblegum, man. I'm very thankful and very blessed for that because this is something that I love to do. And when you see people from Australia that are regular listeners, well, we just added one from Sudan that's turned out the last 2 weeks to be a regular listener.
Oh, wow.
And when you see that worldwide stuff, that just makes you feel. It just makes you feel good inside, because I started the show to carry on Art Bell's legacy and, give people that do see UFOs and believe in UFOs and time travel and stuff a platform similar to Art Bell's. I mean, I'm not comparing our show to Art Bell's by any means because he was the king. He was the master. But, we're on 4 radio stations now. When this interview airs, the news will be official as of Thursday morning. We were picked up by Pandora, and we're on the app and website. So
awesome! Congratulations, man! Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So I totally understand where you're coming from when you talk about being passionate about something and doing it just because you love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What you got any big guests coming up on Bods Mayhem Hour?
Yeah, I just interviewed Doug Pennick from King's X and KXM today, and that's going to be coming up Monday. So that's the only one so far, but I have others that I'm working on. Hopefully, Black Label Society is going to be on the show very shortly. So that's I'm always working on something, Goose, with this podcast. I mean, you never stop,
right?
Because if you stop, man, it's going to be stale. And then with what happened to me, losing 2 weeks, I feel like I'm way behind, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally.
In the
totally
podcast
makes sense.
But it's like I told everybody, my health comes first, and that was something that I never want to go through again. Never.
Yeah. We have took a few breaks over the year, but we've always had new shows, that we've pre-recorded. We done a best of early on, and I don't really like doing a best of because it seems like those are our lowest episodes, like download and streaming wise. Those are our lowest ones. But hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll be able to knock a couple of out in one day and be able to take a weekend off. But when was the last time you went on a ghost hunt?
Good 9-10 years ago.
Okay. You don't have to name the place or who you were with, but can you tell us one of the most freakiest things that you experienced during a ghost hunt?
Actually, not during the ghost hunt. It was actually at my house, my apartment when I was a little kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please start there.
My cousin had came up to spend the night with me, and I was a good, 10, 11 years old. And I don't know what it was. I mean, my room was especially very hot that night. I mean, I had the fan on. This is in the summer, and I just didn't think it felt right. And I told my cousin, I was like, man, before we go to bed, I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. It's like, I'm not feeling this, man. So he's like, let's just go sleep and try it anyway. So, as your kid, your cousin spends the night, he sleeps with you, So we're in there talking, and this is like 2:00 in the morning. And then I used to put my pillows and stuff at the end of the bed.
Right.
Pillows start flying, and socks come out of my sock drawer and just start flying. And I thought it was my dad messing with me because my dad was a big joker. And I could see a shadow in the door frame. And I looked up real quick and I was like, that's not dad. That's not dad. So I was out like a lot. And I just told Marty next morning, I was like, what was that last night? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He wouldn't say much at all, but he's like, I know it was there. I know it was there. That was it. But I knew there was, I saw it with my own eyes, Goose.
Now, had you ever had anything happen prior to that?
No, the only weird thing is my mom told me a couple weeks before this happened, she said that she heard me talking at night while I was asleep, and I was sitting on the side of the bed, and I answered her back, and I don't recall any of this whatsoever. She's like, do you remember me coming to your bedroom last night and ask you what you were doing because I heard you talking? And she said, you told me that you were sitting there talking to a little boy. I said, no, I don't remember any of that. She's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, you looked at me and you said that I'm looking at I'm talking to a little boy. I'm sorry, my phone rings. It doesn't.
You're totally fine, man.
Whenever I do an interview, man, that phone rings.
You are totally fine.
But yeah, that was 2 weeks prior to that happening.
Now, did you have anything after that happened?
No.
Okay. Do you think your cousin could have brought it with him, whatever it was?
That's a good question, man. I don't.
And
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was just, trying to ask that question, and because it never happened prior and didn't happen after, and he didn't want to talk about it, so maybe that stuff that happened to him all along, and he never told anybody.
That's a good possibility. I have tried to talk to him about it still this day, and he just like changes the subject. So a part of me says that there's something there that he's not telling me. Of course, 'cause I know better. I mean, stuff, you see how people react.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and I know, and I'm like, come on, man, just be straight up. I mean, if you brought something in, it's fine.
Just take it with you when you leave.
Yeah, exactly. But I swear, Goose, that night it was so hot in my room, and I told my dad about it, and Dad's like, yeah, it feels a little weird in here. And I was just like, hey, at the time I didn't have central air in these apartments. I just had my box fan, and that was it. And I mean, these apartments get hot, and I mean hot. But that night it was so much more hot than ever, and it was just weird. And then 2 weeks after that, that's when 2 weeks prior to that, that's when the little boy, I was talking to him. So I don't know if that coincides with everything, or if it was he brought something in, but that kind of fueled my fire. When my dad passed away, that fueled my fire even more to get into paranormal stuff. But that was the first incident with all that stuff.
Right.
So that was wild.
Do you remember your second incident?
That was actually on a ghost hunt, actually.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, basically, we had stuff that moved. I mean, it was just one incident, though. Nothing really took us by surprise until like a garbage can moved. I mean, it slammed. I could hear the bag being picked up and then just bam, slammed down.
Wow.
And that really freaked me out because I don't let nothing really get to me.
Right.
Per se on those, when you do investigations. But now there was another instance, I should say, Lord mercy. We were at the the Octagon Hall down in Franklin, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And this house was built like an octagon, and because you could see every side of the area because of the Civil War.
Right.
It was a Civil War sort of like a safe house for the North and the South. But we were doing a walkthrough during the day, and there's a little girl's room on the second floor, and she passed away because of her burns. She got ash on her dress and it caught fire, and her burns took her out, unfortunately. But they had a doll set up in the room. It was wild looking. I got pictures. I'll send it to you sometime.
Okay.
But during the actual walkthrough, this was a door that was old fashioned heavy door. It slammed not once, but twice.
Did you guys open it back up after it slammed?
Oh yeah. We checked everything. We're like, okay, is there something that's triggering it when you pass by? Anything that we could find, man. I mean, we were taking, credit cards and running through the door and the backside, saying, okay, what, is there anything that we're touching, hitting, or anything? And it was just one of those things, man. You don't have a camera, like Robert says, like every damn time something happens, we don't have a camera.
Right.
It's not running. It's out there in the car or something. But the weird part was this little kid and his mom and his aunt was there, which I'm not a big believer in taking kids to a paranormal location. No way, shape, form, or fashion. Other people, that's your prerogative. Just me, no. So I'm behind them, and they're coming out, and Oh, it's so weird, Goose. It's so weird how it happened. We come out, I stop. I didn't look at the door, and Rob's looking at the door, and he's like, look. And the door just like, his arm keeps grabbing my shirt. The door just goes and shuts. We open it back up, and I'm going, so who's here and wants to talk with us? Evidently, you're wanting to know, you're wanting to be known that you're here. You know, you've got this power that you can push the door closed. And we didn't get nothing, but the door closed again after that. So weird. We did see a shadow figure on the second floor again, but not at the girls' room, but over to the other room where a soldier supposedly had died up in the, I guess, from his wounds. He was hiding from the north, I think.
Okay.
And he died. And I saw the shadow half torso, like somebody stepped, like going toward the wall. Like, it's hard to explain. Like they just went over by the door. That's what I saw. And just weird. That old house. It's not an old house, but it's just weird how it's set up. It put me in mind of my old aunt's house out in West Virginia that set out in a bottom. I mean, like a mile up in the hills, down in the bottom. That's how it was set up. And I went and looked, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way there's anybody up here messing with us. And I mean, we checked everything, because when we did that, we were thorough. We checked everything that we could possibly. I have no explanation other than, yeah, it was personal experience, but I saw what I saw.
Right. Did you ever see that one video? And this one is probably one of the most realistic looking videos. It was at a Civil War cemetery, I think up north somewhere, where they start driving down like the center of it, because there's graves on each side, and you can actually see a Civil War soldier. You can't tell what side. He walks up and stops right at the edge of the road, and they just lock the car up.
Is this
stop.
where does he stop by like the cannon?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I've seen that, but I have questions about it. It
Really?
looks too good to be true.
Well, yes, it does, but it looks to me like it was filmed on a cell phone.
That's true. That's very true.
You know.
I think that was at Gettysburg.
Okay. Yes, it was. You're right. Gettysburg. That slipped my mind for some reason. If anybody in our area, in the Bunker Studios area, or Here to Chew Bubblegum area, we're not in Bunker Studios anymore. Anybody in our area wants to get into paranormal investigation, what would you recommend the first step be for somebody?
Be sure that you're 1,000%. Let me start that back all over. Be sure that you are 1,000% committed to this, because it's not just all fun and games. I mean, this is something that you're kind of playing like Russian roulette, because you don't know what you're going to bring home, and you're not guaranteed that you're not going to bring anything home. And I have. It's not fun to deal with.
Right.
You know, some things I wish I didn't do in the paranormal field. I wish I never got into it, but I had, questions for myself. But always do your research. Get with a good team that's credible, very credible. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure this is something that you are 1,000% sure that you want to do, because it can consume you. It can destroy you. Like if something gets attached to you or whatever, it's just hard to get rid of it, man. And that's my opinion. That's just me. I would like to do another ghost hunt again, but I don't know, man. I do, but I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
So you do miss it, but you know what it entails, so you kind of dread it a little bit.
Time. I do, but I mean, I would help any and everybody out for sure. I'd give them advice, for sure. It's so on the fence, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me ask your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
And people's asked me before, and I think I've talked about this, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the show. I have seen things over the years that couldn't be explained in reference to paranormal. I don't feel threatened or scared or, it is what it is. I don't put, any thought into it. If I do see something, and I've actually heard some stuff too. And, but I don't pay any mind to it, and some people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. And I even told a guy, I'm like, hey, I'm very spiritual. I don't, I don't go, and I have been on ghost hunts. I was on one about 3 weeks ago. And, and I even told them beforehand, I'm like, guys, you're probably not going to get anything, with me here. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I've never really had any luck ghost hunting with people. When I've left places and they've continued, then they've have experiences. And I'm like, I'm not a negative person. I'm really not, but it just seems like nothing happens when I'm around.
Yeah. And some people are like that. Some people can go to a location and be with a group and nothing happens. And then just as sure, man, as they get in their vehicle and leave, it's like, oh, hell breaks loose.
Yeah. That's similar to what happened at this one I did here locally about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so
it's an interesting thing, and it does raises questions, and it does make you want to dive into it more to understand why this happens. It's weird that now, I guess the veil is kind of being more exposed, if that makes sense. A lot of people now are seeing more stuff.
Yes.
And I think it's the change of, our world, in honesty. Different weather patterns. Look at all this stuff that the government's messing with now. Hey, whatever people tell me that they believe and see, and I can tell with conviction that they're telling me with it, I believe them. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because I was there at that one point.
Right.
Yeah.
So. In our area, what's one of the most haunted places you think in our area that has never let you down? You always had activity.
I mean, there's a lot of places around here. As far as like most haunted, the most thing EVPs I've ever got was like at Middle Creek Battlefield, very, 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 very long time ago, which we had permission to be there though. That was a good spot. I don't suggest anybody go there unless you have permission to be there, for sure. Respect that place.
Yes.
Because the folks that work, take care of that location, things, I respect those people, because they're doing this out of the grace of their heart and not getting paid for it. So be respectful to them. But we caught cannon fire, horses, which is weird because we're right next to a highway and we're catching stuff like that. Soldiers' voices with the thick Southern drawl. Wow. Yeah, we've got some good stuff from there before. I like that place a lot, actually. So yeah.
When you go to the daytime just to look at that place, it's just amazing, and to sit and think, what may have happened there is just, it's hard to comprehend sometimes. Switching gears real quick before I let you off here. What were your thoughts on the Tic Tac videos, and then the government's when they released what happened in the reports really was nothing? What was your thoughts on that?
When I saw the Tic Tac videos, I was like, it's about time.
Yeah.
You've got these pilots who see this thing, and it's like going by them like they're setting still. And the pilots are like, they're going like 400 somewhat knots, I guess. What is it?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Something like that?
No, you're right.
And they're just like, what the crap? This can't be happening. So yeah, I just say it's about time. But like all the other stuff that I'm sure it's going to come out sooner or later. More stuff.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you on that. I think we'll eventually know the truth, and it makes me wonder. They released 3 videos, or that they confirmed 3 videos. They were leaked, but it makes me wonder how many more they had that they've not put out. Because I do know and have confirmation that there is more that weren't leaked that they're holding on to. They've not put those out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's tons of stuff they've got, man, that they're not released yet, and they probably won't release it, but eventually they will. Maybe not in our time frame, but eventually.
Well, I hope so. I hope we see it in our lifetime, and I honestly think that we will. So I think by the time that before I'm 60, I think we will know the truth.
Yeah, I would hope so, because I like to know about the what was it? There was a UFO spotted above the White House a long time ago.
Yeah, those was in the 50s.
I don't know if that was legit or if that was just something to get everybody scared about, because about that time, man, UFOs was a big thing.
Yeah, that in my research and investigation and opinion, I think that was totally legit because the government has always downplayed stuff. I don't think they want to scare people, and George Bush even made the comment, when he had Alzheimer's when he made his comment, but they asked him about UFOs and alien life. And he said, the public can't handle the truth. And I'm paraphrasing there, but he said they couldn't handle the truth.
And you know what? That's a good statement. Because you really think people are going to handle that truth? That's true.
I think I could.
Well, yeah, us, but I mean, other people. Do you think that?
No, because hell, look what everybody did over toilet paper last year.
Yeah, what was that other one? Why was it Y2J? Not Y2J.
Talk is Jericho.
That is right. Oh, Y2J. Lord of mercy, God.
Y2K.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, look what people did with that crap.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
Lord of mercy.
Oh, well, John, thank you very much for coming on. Again, that was John Marshall with the Bods Mayhem Hour. And thank you very much, John, for being our guest ghost story as we continue this month of October.
Yeah, man, no problem whatsoever. And congratulations. I like what you guys are doing. And keep it up, man, for sure. And I'm a big supporter of you guys and always will be a big supporter of you all, for sure.
Thank you very much, John. That sure means a lot to us. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that's John Marshall, Bods Mayhem Hour. Be sure to check it out. And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. This is episode 51, part 2, our anniversary special as we continue to celebrate 1 year in existence of Here to Chew Bubblegum. And tell us about the group that you're talking about this month, Dirty Dan.
Well, as you noticed earlier, I am rocking one of their shirts.
Yes, I did.
And for the next few episodes, we will still be talking about and recognizing the group with their amazing work called the Till Valhalla Project. They were established in 2017, rocking the slogan, "Where heroes live on forever," under their wonderful tribute of a logo. The TVP team is all about bringing and spreading awareness to help our vets and soldiers' needs, the ones who devote and sacrifice their time to protect our lives and our freedoms so we can do things like this show on our podcast. And sometimes, and all too much, unfortunately, the ones that give the ultimate sacrifice, their own lives for us. Julia is quoted saying, "Our mission is to do whatever it takes, anything to get our name out and our purpose to the masses. The sale of these products, of course, will help make a difference, but it's the conversations and the awareness that they bring to lessen the 22 a day plus one active duty death or suicide that is more significant than any monetary donation. We need to support each other, most notably our brothers and sisters and families left behind." And starting in 2019, they ramped up their donations an additional 20% of net proceeds towards that suicide cause. And as of about a month ago now, they broke the $1 million mark in under 2 full years.
That is awesome.
And folks, it's not just about the vets. It's not just about the active duty. They are a true believer of ending all suicide. I had a shirt on last week that said, "I can't promise to fix your problems, but I can promise you won't face them alone. End all suicide." It is a very near and dear cause to my heart, and I know Goose's heart, and a lot more people than they might want to admit. So go to tillvalhallaproject.com. That's TILVALHALLA project.com. You can donate, you can tip, you can buy merch, you can just write a message to them and volunteer. Just give back some way. if you can, in any way you can. It's always for a good cause, because I guarantee that 9 out of 10 people out there have been affected by a suicide in one way, shape, or form.
Very well said.
Check them out. And then, folks, don't forget to go check out AWP, Adventures with Purpose, on YouTube, and adventureswithpurpose.com.
I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work. Don't forget about the new Midlife Crisis album out now. And be sure to check out and support our friends with their own shows. I'm talking about CK and Uncle Bill over at deadpit.com, Justin Perkins with Talk Junkie, Jordan and Brad of Down on the Holler, Seth Ambergy with Seth's Daily Podcast. And he does have a new online station up and running. We will bring you that information next week. Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle over at the Spooky Family Podcast.com and the Mountain Mystery Podcast with Chris Sloan. Don't forget about Cronkite, Snowman, and Large Marge over at Paranormal Trucker. You can find them on YouTube. And if you want to awaken more, check out Rebecca Short on TikTok and Honest Rebecca Thoughts on Twitch. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.